Again, guys, I'm back. Today is February 5th, 2018. Welcome to my channel, Alien Society. Before I begin, I'd like to say thank you for the subscribers that come to my channel. I say thank you to all those who commented, regardless whether it be positive or negative. You know, I want to also respond in video to people that say that I have to learn how to be, to accept criticism. I do accept criticism, okay? But I do not accept when people try to insult my intelligence. When I get on these videos, I'm not here to try to portray, a character where I'm better than you or anything of that nature. I see myself as an equal of everyone on this planet, and we are all seekers of the truth. And that's all that I do here, okay? So, I want to talk about this Apollo 11, which of course I know many channels have spoken about it. You know, you got the conspiracy theorists that believe that these three men never went to the moon. Now, I want to, in my own personal opinion, and I want to put up a couple of little points that people need to understand, okay? Now, you guys have heard me plenty of times talk about competition of the world. In this country, like other countries in the world, there's that constant competition where everyone is trying to outsmart the next person. So let's say, for instance, if you're playing a chess game, obviously you know that chess is a mind game. You have to know how to strategize your next move, because if you don't strategize your next move, then you can easily end the game. Okay? It's all about knowing how to strategize to keep afloat. So with that, let me continue. Okay, we got Neil Armstrong on the left, who, of course, supposedly was the man who put the first man on the moon, right? Then you got, of course, Michael Collins in the middle, and Buzz Aldrin, or let's just say his real first name, which is Edwin, okay, Aldrin. And these guys, if I'm not mistaken, in 1969, okay, in July 20th, happened to be the first ones to go to the moon. Of many tries, okay, of many tries, but you gotta understand that these guys managed to make it. Others have not. Now, my whole point on this stuff is that a lot of these conspiracy theorists, okay, now I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, of course, where you got these people claiming that these men did not make it to the moon. Now, I have to say this. A lot of these people, man, really do not think when they speak. And the reason I say that is because even if you believe that these men did not make it to the moon, why do you feel the need to let the world know that these men did not make it to the moon? Now, of course, I don't know whether they did or not. You know, I believe they went. And even if I didn't believe that they went, right? Why would anyone need to be revealing that we never got there? Now, I know people are going to fight with me on this because there's always that conspiracy thought that everything that happens on this planet is a conspiracy. It's not that it's a conspiracy, people. It's that not everything that is being done has to be exposed to the world. Considering that our country, America, okay, we are always trying to seek that step ahead of everyone else. And of course, everyone is trying to get that step over us. So, I don't believe that everything that we do under the sun in America has to be revealed to the world. Now, yeah, I know you guys heard me talk about the extraterrestrial life, where I said, you know, it's fine and dandy, you know, if we got to communicate with extraterrestrials first. And obviously I believe that everyone else on this planet already know that, contact has been made and continues to be made. But I don't want to keep repeating myself, when I already said that it's everyone, United Nations, that's every country in the world confirming and, agreeing to bring forth that, yes, we have been visited for thousands, hundreds of years. My only thing is, why is it that people always feel the need to just make up stuff? Like, when I brought up the Valiant Thor story, I knew the backlash I was going to get from it, because, you see, the thing is that people are so quick to, once again, they voice their opinion so quickly without analyzing and deciding for themselves whether what I'm doing is to derail you from the truth, right? Because, of course, you guys heard me plenty of times saying it. People accuse me of being an FBI agent, secret agent, right? Or NSA agent, or, it's just crazy. That's what you call the people that have that conspiratorial mind. Not everything on this planet is a conspiracy, people. It's just that certain things, okay, whether you believe that certain things are accurate or not, we're not going to know every single thing that our government does. Just like in the entire world. All those countries on this planet, they're not going to tell their civilians what things they're doing behind closed doors. Is that wrong? I would have to say yes and no. Yes, because I believe that, its citizens deserve the right to know, what exactly is going on. Two, sometimes certain things are hard to, to bring out, because the media, of course, is the ones that everyone in the world sees the media. And with the media, it exposes a whole bunch of different things. And then it causes national conflict, simply because these conspiracy theorists brought up certain points that they felt they had to bring out to the world, when in fact they didn't have to do that. They could have easily just accept it and said, okay, well, these guys didn't make it to the moon. Fine, granted. We in this country, so why should we tell everyone else, right? Now, I'm not saying that no one's is entitled to their thoughts. We're all entitled to our thoughts, and that's what makes our country a great country, that, you can express anything you want on this country. Because not every country has the privilege that we do. They don't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these governments control their civilians. The only difference is that people have to be more aware of the things that happen around us. Be more aware of the things that happen around us, guys. Once again, you can come to whatever conclusion you want about me and all these stories I bring forward. But all I can tell you is, I don't play two fences. I'm on one side of the fence. Okay? And that being me, I'm here in the same country as you, which is America, I would hope, right? Now, tons of people always going to make their comments. Some people going to be negative. Okay? Some people call me a drunk. And I don't drink, by the way. I don't drink alcohol or liquor. But, of course, they say I sound like a drunk. Simply because the things that I say cannot register in their brain, So, they figured since they don't want to accept anything, they rather just lash out at me instead of just moving on to the next video. Which is a common sense to do, right? You move on. If you're not in agreement with something, yeah, you might voice your opinion and leave a comment. But if you're so negative to the point where you're being disrespectful, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. So yeah, guys, that's why I decided to come out with this story, because I figured a lot of people just miss the whole point. I'm not saying I'm bright, because I'm not. I just know what I know. Because I am a seeker of the truth. But at the same time, if let's say I had a secret book, okay, let's say from the all grand architect of the universe, for instance, right? Whether it be Yahweh, Allah, whatever name you decide to use. And I happen to be given a book, like I said, but I was told that I cannot give it to anyone. That's the only way I can keep it, if I don't give its contents to anyone of what's inside, right? So, what do? I will not reveal none of that stuff, because now, if I do that, I will be giving the enemy an upper hand. Not only that, plus the book will be taken away from me, considering that I was told not to reveal the contents within the book. And that was the only way I can keep it. Which means if I can see the future or anything, think about anything possible that you can think of, right? And it was just in that book, like I just said. And I can't tell you that. So if I was to know the day you die, and it's in that book, I can't tell you. I can't even tell you the book exists. Because once I show you it, now you're going to want to know what's the contents it have. You're going to want to know everything about the book. Where it came from, what's in it. And of course, I can't do that. I'm just making small references to certain things, guys. That's all I'm doing. Not everything is a conspiracy. Okay? And even if you believe that we are being lied to, what I'm saying is, draw your own conclusions, but be quiet about it. You don't have to be out in the open and show the enemy that certain things are happening here in this country. Now you're giving them the heads up. And in my mind, I'm thinking, why would you even do that? That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, some people would consider that to be treacherous. Treason. In case people just missed what I said. So, I mean, all I can say is draw your own conclusions, guys. You got videos that are out there and, that show us that Neil Armstrong was questioned. He's, a lot of body language. People read all that good stuff. And many times these men were asked, swear on the Bible that they went to the moon. But whether you believe that they did or not, just because they didn't want to swear on the Bible, that doesn't necessarily mean that they never got there. That just means that they personally probably didn't believe in that particular Bible that that man was holding. I don't remember the guy's name, so forgive me for not knowing his name. But it was a guy, and I'm sure you guys seen the video all over the place, that not only did he ask these 3 men, but he also asked others from other Apollo missions. Okay? So, I mean, you can draw your own conclusions on that, guys. Now, there's a couple more things that I want to talk about. I know that it's been a long time since I've been on here, and I know people are going to be like, well, it has been a while. And I try. Okay, I try. Because I did say that I was going to make this more of an alien contactee story and alien abductee story, which, of course, I'm going to continue with that. But I wanted to relate a whole bunch of different issues on here because I noticed that a lot of people are misguided. Not because they want to be misguided, but because some of them just choose to have a closed mind. Okay? Some of them just choose to be closed-minded about everything. My thing is to learn from you, Maybe you learn from me, perhaps. I don't know. We can learn from each other, right? Because that's the whole purpose of this. That's the whole purpose. For me, it is, anyways. I try, to look into many things that I've seen. But again, the thing that bothers me is that some people, once again, they shut down where they don't want to know anything else. Okay? Like, I can give you a quick example where, like some people still believe Elvis is alive simply because, of course, he was a great rocker at the time. And, people just basically don't let go. And it still happens to this very day. You got people that still believe Michael Jackson is alive. You got people that still believe that Tupac, the rapper Tupac, is still alive. That's what people believe. Now, they believe it because there's these people out there that continue to push, fabricated stories. I know people are going to be like, well, what in the hell is this guy talking about now? That's why I wanted to do different type of stories, because I know that the conspiracy theory people, the mind, of those people, it's always about being lied to, but they need to expose it. But some of the things is just not a conspiracy, man. Some of the things are just what you see. There's no conspiracy behind it. Okay? Now, of course, you guys many times heard me say I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, because I'm not. My thing is, I do believe that certain things are out there and we're not being told about it, but I understand. Okay? I understand why we're not being told about it. Once again, is it wrong that we're not being told about it? Yeah, it is wrong. But there are reasons, there are protocols to be, that has to take place. Things happen for a reason, guys, when it comes to that type of stuff. But again, people can argue with me till they're blue in the face or whatever, and they'll just assume that I'm just a guy who is completely blind, who have no understanding, who have no IQ, and basically I don't know nothing about anything. But I always say that if you believe in the Bible, right, and you believe in Jesus, right, or Yahshua, right, then you know that his meanings when he spoke in a language where only a select few can understand what he's saying. Right? So that's why I always say that the things I talk about, yeah, they're plain as day. But also, if you don't get what I'm saying, then I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you, because, I'm going to continue seeking, and I'm going to continue revealing the truth. Now, if you think that what I do is not truth, there's nothing I can do. I'm not trying to convince you either. Because you got your own decisions whether you want to believe me or not. All I can say is draw your own conclusions. Draw your own conclusions. Everything happens for a reason. Of course, everyone say that sacred number was 3, right? You see 3 astronauts who made it to the moon from America. Many people would say, hey, why 3? Why didn't they send 2 guys? Or why didn't they send 1 guy? Or why didn't they send, 5 guys? But 3? Well, maybe because, the lunar module there was probably only enough for 3 guys. At that particular time anyways. And I know people still to this very day probably say, well, how come we haven't returned to the moon? What's the big deal? Who cares if we didn't return to the moon, right? The purpose at that particular time was who get there first. The space race. That's what that was before. Now it's not a space race anymore. So there's no need for that competition in terms of who's going to get to the moon. It already happened. Now, yeah, I know. People are going to argue with me about this and say the gases and all this other stuff. And then it's like me saying that these 3 men went to Venus, right? And we know that's not possible for them to go to Venus. They would not survive. Right? But who knows? Anything's possible. If you got strong spacesuits, and I mean, anything's possible. Now, again, I know I'm going to get backlash for this. And I know people are going to be like, well, have you not seen all the videos on YouTube about this so-called trip to the moon? Okay, in 1969. Of course, I've seen them all. I have seen them all. I'm just telling you, so you don't think that I haven't. I've seen them all. And I already told you what my opinion is. So if you missed it the first time, I told you, yes, I believe they went there. But if you think that they didn't, there's nothing I can tell you, you know. There's nothing else I can say. But anyways, guys, once again, I would like to thank all of you for coming on my channel. If you're new, please subscribe. If you like, you don't have to. I always say, you know, if you like the video, like it. Hit the notification button there if you want to know every time I put up a video. I try my best, guys. Again, I'm not a professional with none of this stuff. I try my best. You know, I just get on here and put my opinion into these things. The only one that was based on 100% fact was the Valiant Thor story. Okay, that of course I'm not going to get into here because I got plenty of my videos up on it already. And that's how I got into this YouTube stuff. Because I figured this was the time to show the people how some men and women out there, okay, they abuse, okay, gullible people. That's what they do. Even whatever you think of the person, whether you like, oh, that was a good man, well, that was a good woman. But you see, the thing is that is the image that you are given by these individuals that are con men and con women. They want you to get that image of a good person in them. Because, of course, their whole mission is to fool you. Not only to fool you, to reel you in so that they can make a living off of you and everyone else who believes in their stories. And that's why you always have these individuals claiming that, you know, they had contact with the government about these aliens and, you know, and they contact these stories that, you know, some of these, if you noticed, when you guys look into all of those things as I did, you will see that a lot of these individuals that claim alien contact always claim to have or been chased by the government to be quiet. And see, but that is the, once again, it's like a tool that it's used because they already know that you, that be us, the viewers, right, are going to automatically think, okay, wait a minute, the government been telling them to be quiet, but he's not going to be quiet, but yet he still lives and he's talking about it, right? Even like with the Phil Snyder thing, that people claim that it was the government that killed him and all this stuff, and but you see, his wife, Cynthia, was the one that started that rumor. Because, of course, she claimed that she knew him better than anyone else. Which, of course, sometimes that's the case. But, I mean, I don't know, guys. I mean, some people are out there. They're out there on the field to lie. They don't care about any type of truth. All they care about is entertaining you so they can get what they want. That's basically what it is. Entertainment for them. When George Adamski decided to, you know, pull this Orthon gig, Orthon from Venus, right? It was not based on any truth. It was based on entertainment. To see how you, me, and everyone else around at that time and today accepted that story. But no, he's going to show you sketches, and many to this very day still believe that he actually was in contact with an extraterrestrial called Orthon. Even though that he never showed no form of proof whatsoever other than a sketch of what somebody looks like. Like Frank Ernest Strange tried to do by showing his own picture of himself, okay, as a young man, and he tried to pass himself as a Venusian, which of course he did. And you guys already know the story. Like I said, I'm not going to get into it there. Like Howard Menger, for instance. Okay? He just wanted to be the next George Adamski. Hey, so did Frank Ernest Strange after that, yeah, right? It was like, let me see how far can I get with this. Oh, he got really far. Because people believe it. But then if you start looking into, was there Nancy Warren? Was there 2 officers really from Virginia? You know, and they really there at the Alexandria, Virginia? Where are those officers then? If that was real, right? I'm just giving you bits and pieces of certain examples, guys. That's all I'm doing. I'm not, you know, going back to these same stories. All I'm doing is just showing you bits and pieces of all those stories that have come forward. And to this very day, you still got people claiming to have, you know, extraterrestrial contact, yet they cannot come out with any form of solid evidence to provide, to confirm their claim. But yet, of course, these individuals, they give me negative comments by saying, oh, I'm negative, oh, I'm such a closed-minded person. So I'm closed-minded because I'm asking you for solid evidence. Whether it be a picture or, well, not just a picture. It has to be a lot more than just a picture. You know what I mean? It has to be a lot more than that. Because we already know that people can falsify, you know, thanks to the computers and everything today. You know, it's like people are able to use these systems. I guess you can call them photo editing because that's something that's been happening for a long time. And now it's easier with computers now. So yeah, now I've had my arguments with individuals that, you know, had these claims of contacting extraterrestrials, but then when I start asking them for proof, they say they don't have it, but then they start being negative and say I'm the one who's closed-minded. And if you guys think that's crazy, there was also a female, I would have to say a couple months ago, where she claimed that she isn't, well, she still does kind of claim it. She's alive today still, in her 80s. Proclaiming that she communicates with Don Thor, Valiant Thor, who's her husband, as she says it, right? And I'm definitely going to do a video about that one, because you guys definitely got to know about that one. You know, it's something that I came across. I didn't address her in any negative tones, but it almost seemed like once I got into her website, it was like she was trying to compete whether I was trying to grab all her members, and because of course my investigation into the Valiant Thor story, how it's not real, and so she was arguing with me and telling me that there is such a guy named Valiant Thor and all this other stuff, and she's saying yes, Frank Ernest Strange was a hoax and all this stuff, but she claims that she knows the truth and he's her husband and all this stuff, but she couldn't provide any proof either. But as she said, they are able to communicate through her as like a channeler, if you will. Well, yeah, I'm definitely going to do a video for you guys on that so you guys can gain an understanding about that one too, because that's another person that claimed that she worked for the government and, you know, that she's very confirmed and or whatever, okay? But that's just to show you guys how far people go just to get certain attention. Alright? That's what it shows me. I mean, it was crazy, because once I got into that website, of course, I'm not going to mention the website because I don't want anyone, going there and being negative and all this stuff, because that was not my intent. My intent was to get straight to the bottom of why she was using those names, when, of course, I was already familiar that those people do not exist. And they started with Frank Ernest Stranges. And then once I mentioned certain names to her, she was trying to tell me, well, these people such and such, and try to... Well, I'll tell you guys on a different video. This one is not going to be about that. This one is just going to be about Apollo 11. And I already told you guys my opinion on it. And I hope that you guys can understand where I'm coming from on this. You can voice your opinion if you like. I mean, again, if you want to be negative about it, just go to a different channel, because I prefer that. I mean, criticism is fine. Again, I have no problem with people criticizing. But if you're going to be severely critical where you're trying to disrespect me, that's where I'm going to have a problem, because I'm like, wow, I mean, there's no need for the disrespect. If you disagree with me, so let's say we agree to disagree, and let's move on. It's not to sit here and type back and forth and just be negative all day long. So with that, I'm going to close here, guys, and I'm sorry for the long delay that I haven't put up a video. I will continue to put more videos. My next one actually is going to be about the story I just said, and I'm going to tell you the name of that person. And I'm going to get more deeper into that, because that person claimed that she was the Tanya of the Howard Menger, story, where, of course, Frank Ernest Stranges claimed that these people were Venusians, and she says that she was the person called Tanya in the story. But she didn't say that's her name, of course, but she said Frank Ernest Stranges said that name, to make her seem like she's a Venusian, but she's not. Well, she's over 85 years old, guys, so... I'm not lying about it. I wish, I can have a video here and we can communicate and you guys can hear both of us talking. But, unfortunately, her and I fell off because we were in complete disagreement with a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to close here, guys. Until the next video, I see you. Peace.